Hey, how's it going, team? Today I just wanted to run you through the two trades that we caught this morning during the London session. Now, this was caused by the accumulation period that we had during the morning Asian session. Now, for those of you that don't know, we trade an AMD SMC concept. It's very, very simple in the markets. It's literally accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. We aim to enter during the manipulation period of the markets because this sets us up for when the market then goes ahead and distributes the most volume through that afternoon session. So as you can see on screen here, we had AUD USD play out a full TP for a 3.28R. And then we also had another trade taken today, which was a -1R taken on GU. This was a little bit of an odd trade, so I'm just going to go ahead and break both of those down. First of all, if we go into the AUD USD trade, it's very, very simple what we're looking for in the market. So let me just go ahead and hit a replay mode onto the start of our London session. So once we're here back at the start of our London session, if I just go ahead and turn off the drawing, so we're just simply looking at the Asian session for the morning. Now this is what is presented for the Asian session. As you can see here, we have an accumulation. Now the accumulation in this very mechanical way is super easy to tell. Do we have a high or a low that starts the session, and do we have a high or a low that ends the session? Now if we have either of these, it's simply not an accumulating session. As you can see here, we entered into the market, we pushed and we formed a high, we formed a low, and we were generally ranging within this period. So this was a valid example of an accumulation period that I could go ahead and look for a manipulation entry. Once we had this session present itself and we entered then into the London session volume at around 8 AM UK time, we were looking for this liquidity sweep which we'd seen up here to get broken below as a change of character. So once we, as you can see, were pushing these highs and we entered into the market, we had this sort of wave structure forming here, which is where we made a high, we made a low, we pushed up beyond that, we made another high and a slight rejection candle, we then broke beyond that again. Currently, when we entered into the AM market, this is a zone I was looking at for my change of character to get broken. As you can see, we pushed again above this level. What I was then looking is when we broke this, we made a breaker structure here. What was the low that formed that breaker structure, which was internal in this? As you can see, here's my change of character. Once we'd broken below with a candle body closure on that change of character, we were looking for a retracement into this 618 level to then take it down to the 618 fib extension, getting us an over 3R achieved. As you can see, the trade went ahead and tagged in here. It then rejected off, and if you did go ahead and actually miss getting into this trade, there was a retest later on in the day. This was, as you can see here, we had a retest of the entry zone, and during New York was where we distributed the volume. As you can see, accumulation, manipulation here, and then a distribution period here, which got us a 3.28R. Now, at the same time that this trade idea was being presented on the charts, we also had GBP USD presenting a trade for us. So if I just go ahead and replay back to the same thing, it's very, very simple. Now, as you can see, by looking again, if I just turn off these drawings, at the morning Asian session, we had a very simple accumulation. Now, as you can see, entered in, we didn't have a particular high or low as we entered into the market. We then formed a low and we formed a high. Now, as you can see here, if we actually scaled in, this high didn't finish the session. There was a candlestick here which closed this session off. So this was allowed as an accumulation essentially. So we were looking for the market to sweep and then change of character, retracement, and an entry. So what we had is we had a sweep to the upside of this morning session period here, as you can see. We were then looking for a change of character to the downside. So again, following that same wave structure, if I just go ahead and mark this point out here, this is where I was identifying my change of character. As you can see there, it's now placed itself onto the chart. So once I had a candlestick break through that, as you can see, which was here, this was invalid because it was only a wick. We need a candle body closure. That's very important with a change of character. Once we had that change of character through this point here, we were then looking for a rejection of the 0.618 level. Now I have my limit set for a while and this didn't go ahead and tag in. As you can see, we were just consolidating and moving between this sort of range here. Pushed down the fib, and then we went ahead, pulled back up, and literally got an entry at the end of our trading range. This was like a 1 or 2 minutes before the end of our trading range, because we closed half an hour before that afternoon session, which is the New York session in my case. So I closed half an hour before the New York session. It's very simple rules when I'm trading the London. And as soon as we got tagged into this point, we were obviously waiting for that distribution period to come into the markets. We did pull down a bit, but then we went ahead, flew up, took out the liquidity of London and hit a full stop loss on that trade. Now, this is exactly why we have a stop loss level set above the fib. And the reason why we have that is because, as you can see here, If we were to sweep this point of liquidity, what's to say when we come into the next session, we're not then to sweep the following session's liquidity? It's just simple mass market movements. If you were to look at this 3-point structure, accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, and to have an invalid trade like this, 9 times out of 10 it's going to stop you out bang on that previous high, because it's then either sweeping or continuing against your direction for a reversal. But essentially, this is what we saw for the day. There was no trades presented on EU. As you can see, I had a limit order set here, made a change of character, but there was no retracement into the entry zone, so no trade therefore was taken. If I go ahead and show you how simple it is to identify these trades using our samurai indicator, as you can see here, we literally have the charts plotted out for us. We have a full function of settings that are fully customizable as well. And then literally we swept the market highs. We had that same change of character that I marked on the manual strategy. We had a rejection and we had an entry here from the fib, and as you can see, a full TP at that fib extension zone. So without me even tending to the charts, this trade idea was presented so I could go ahead and enter it in the markets without needing any knowledge or experience. That's how simple you can make your trading by using things like automated systems if you don't want to go ahead and learn the skill of trading for yourself. The same thing again for this GBP USD. Although it did come out in a stop loss, the trade idea was still valid, and we can confirm that by, as you can see here, the samurai indicator swept the liquidity, had a change of character to the downside, and then a retracement into our 618 for the 618 extension on the TP. But unfortunately, as mentioned, this hit a 1R stop loss. We don't care. It's a valid trade. If we hit a stop loss, we go on to tomorrow and we go ahead and trade again. Thanks to the power of utilizing this strategy though, we still came up 2R for the day thanks to AUD USD on a 3.28 risk to reward. Anyway, that's been the trades that we caught for the day. Appreciate you. Stick around for the next one.